Hello everybody, I welcome you all in 19th session of your physics paper 1 syllabus. Today we are going to start your unit number 3, which is I think comparatively more easier than the 2 units we have just finished. So this third unit is about the ultrasonic waves. We have seen that the human being can hear the signal or sound having frequency range of the order of 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, beyond which it is not possible for human being to listen the sound. Now, the sound or audible signals that are having sound or acoustic signals that are having frequency greater than 20 kilohertz up to 200 megahertz, frequency range, the sound signals of this frequency range, we call it as the ultrasound. So you can observe here that the frequency of ultrasonic wave is much more larger as compared to the audible frequency. Now, as the frequency is much greater, the ultrasonic waves have some special characteristics. Like, like the normal sound wave, the ultrasonic waves are also the longitudinal waves that are consisting of successive compressions and rarefactions. The ultrasonic waves, like the normal sound wave, cannot travel through vacuum because we have seen that a mechanical wave requires some material medium to propagate. It is not the electromagnetic wave. So, ultrasonic wave require some material medium to propagate. Moreover, we have seen that the frequency of ultrasonic wave is very high. That means wavelength should be very small because frequency and wavelength are inversely proportional to each other. So, as frequency is very high, the penetrating power of this ultrasonic wave is greater one. Since energy related with the ultrasonic wave is larger, its penetrating power is also high. In a homogeneous medium, the ultrasonic waves travel at a constant velocity. Like a normal light wave, any normal light wave, the ultrasonic wave also undergo the reflection or refraction or the absorption phenomena while passing from one medium to another medium. Now, as the frequency of this wave is very larger one, these waves produce an intense heat when they are passed through some medium or any object. So, these waves can be used in welding of certain plastics and certain metals. And one more property that is quite unique one for ultrasonic wave is that they can be transmitted over larger distance but without much loss of energy. This is the property of ultrasonic wave. So these are the properties of ultrasonic waves. Now let us see what are the methods by which we can produce the ultrasonic waves. There are two main methods. One is related with the piezoelectric effect and we called it as the piezoelectric oscillator method. We have already seen in the previous chapter that there are certain materials like quartz crystal such that they have an ability to generate the electric charge when a mechanical stress is applied to them. So we call that material as piezoelectric material. For example, if we apply a compressive stress or tensile stress on this quartz material, what will happen? The electric charge will be generated. In response to the mechanical stress. So we call these materials as the piezoelectric materials, and this effect, the piezoelectric effect, is used for the production of ultrasonic waves. But actually, it is not the piezoelectric effect, but it is the inverse piezoelectric effect that is used for the generation of ultrasonic waves. What is piezoelectric effect? It convert Piezoelectric effect convert mechanical energy to electrical energy, whereas the inverse piezoelectric effect convert electric energy to the mechanical energy. That means when we apply some electrical energy or current to a piezoelectric material, the dimension of that material changes. Okay. When electricity passes from a piezoelectric material, the dimension of that material changes. Moreover, if I apply an alternating current, not a direct current, but an alternating current, if we apply alternating current, what will happen? The piezoelectric material will be compressed, will be expanded, compressed, expanded, and as a result of which we will get the vibrations of this material, piezoelectric material. So it is the inverse piezoelectric material effect that is used for the production of ultrasonic waves. Now when we are speaking about the piezoelectric material, the shape of this piezoelectric material is like this. It consists of two pyramidal structures, this one and this one, these two pyramidal structures along with a hexagonal structure. Okay, there are two pyramids along with one hexagon. Now the piezoelectric crystal is supposed to have three axes. There are three nomenclatures. One is the optic axis which connect the centers of the pyramids. Okay, optic axis, it is joining the edges of pyramid or centers of pyramid, Now electric axis, that is the x-axis. What is electric axis? It joins the centers of hexagon. Okay, it joins the centers of hexagon. So any cut in this way, we called it as an electric axis cut. Now there is third axis, what we called it as the mechanical axis, which joins the centers of hexagon. Okay, electric axis join the corners, whereas mechanical axis join the centers of hexagon. So thus there are we have to consider three axes of any piezoelectric crystal: optic axis, electric axis, and a mechanical axis. Now the next method that is used for the production of ultrasonic waves is the magnetostriction oscillator method. This word magnetostriction, it is highly inspired by the word electrostriction. What is meant by magnetostriction effect? It is something like when a rod of ferromagnetic material, is kept in a magnetic field, or when it gets magnetized, what will happen? It changes its dimensions. These dimensions will be changes. So after applying the magnetic field to a ferromagnetic material, what will happen is dimension changes. We call this effect as the magnetostriction effect, and we use this effect for the production of ultrasonic waves. Before going to the circuit diagram, actual circuit diagrams, I have to first clear certain things, like we must know what is the LC tank circuit. I hope you have already know about the LC tank circuit. It is nothing but the combination of an inductor and a capacitor. We know that the energy stored in a capacitor is in the form of electrical energy, whereas the energy stored in an inductor is in the form of a magnetic field energy, magnetic energy. So when we will close this loop and when the capacitor is fully charged, what will happen after closing the loop? The capacitor get discharged so that the electrical energy gets stored in the form of magnetic energy, and thus the magnetic field will be created. Okay, so this is what we called it as the LC tank circuit. Now while discharging, current will move in another way. Now this gets magnetized, and again, as per the Faraday's law, it will produce certain induced EMF that again allows the current to flow through this circuit and again allowing the charging of the capacitor. So discharging, discharging, charging, discharging, it will give us certain current flowing through the circuit such that it is changing its polarity or direction of flow after certain time. So this LC tank circuit, due to this constant charging and discharging of this capacitor, this LC tank circuit is used in a process of oscillation. Okay, oscillation, and the oscillation will be, the condition for oscillation is achieved when the reactance of this capacitor become equal to the reactance of this inductor. And this frequency for which the oscillation takes place, resonance takes place, and we will get the oscillations. This frequency is equals to 1 upon 2 pi under the root of LC. This is about the tank circuit that you must know before studying the production of ultrasonic waves. And one more thing that we must know is the oscillator. I know you have studied oscillator many times, but still I thought it's important to discuss the oscillator little bit here also. We know an amplifier is a circuit which amplifies the input signal. Okay, it amplifies the input signal. What is an oscillator? It gives an oscillating or AC signals in its output, or oscillating signals in its output. Now, an oscillator is itself an amplifier, but along with amplifier, there is a positive feedback network. What is mean by positive feedback? Some portion of the output is again fed back to its input. Why? In order to sustain the oscillations. In order to sustain the oscillations. In order to achieve the oscillations of fixed amplitude, we can say. If we will not give any positive feedback, that means if we will not supply portion of the output to the input of the oscillator, what will happen? Instead of the sustained oscillations, we will get the damped oscillations. So we don't want such damped oscillation, and that's why we need a positive feedback network. So an oscillator is basically an amplifier with a positive feedback. Along with these two parts, there is some wave shaping component also. That means what type of wave shape we require, like a sinusoidal wave or square wave or triangular wave. Depending on this requirement, there should be some wave shaping component in the oscillator circuitry. So this is about the LC tank circuit and oscillator that you must know before studying the production of ultrasonic waves. Now let us come to the point. First of all, let us consider see the piezoelectric oscillator circuit using a transistor. We have to take into account two cases, one using transistor, another using triode valve. Now let us see the circuit using a transistor. Now the circuit is very simple. It's either the valve circuit or a transistor circuit. The common things are like here, this is the piezoelectric material that has been kept in between two metal plates A and B. Okay. Now our aim is to produce the ultrasound waves. That means we have to produce certain compression and rarefactions. Here, compressions and rarefactions. That is what we have to do. We have to vibrate this piezoelectric crystal. We have to create certain vibrations. How? By using the inverse piezoelectric effect, we will apply certain electric field, obviously changing electric field. This will allow the crystal to compress and to uh, you can say to expand, compression and expansion. This alternating current will allow this crystal to compress and expand vigorously, that will give rise to the required vibrations and to the required ultrasonic waves. Now, how this has been achieved? This crystal is connected to the secondary coil of the transformer, the primary of which is formed by the two coils L1 and L2, inductor L1 and inductor L2. Now this L2 is quite important here, because this L2 along with the variable capacitor C, variable capacitor means we can change the value of C as per our requirement. So this L2 along with this capacitor C, it forms a tank circuit. It forms a tank circuit. That means here is the part that is giving rise to the oscillations. Okay, this is giving rise to the oscillations, and these oscillations are transferred to the piezoelectric crystal through the process of mutual inductance in between L2 and L. As we know, it is according to the Faraday's law. Okay, so the oscillations will be created by this tank circuit, also known as the resonant circuit or tuned circuit. Okay, tank circuit. These oscillations are passed to L through mutual inductance method, and this from L these are transferred to the piezoelectric crystal. Okay. Now this L2, because L2 and L1, they are also inductively coupled. There is also a mutual inductance which allow certain EMF to be produced in L1. Okay, EMF will be produced in L1 due to the current flowing through the L2. But where the L1 is connected, this tank circuit is connected to the collector part of the transistor. But the L1 is connected to the base part of the transistor, and thus the current flowing through this is actually acting as a feedback network. Okay, this much of circuit is actually providing the positive feedback that is required for the sustained oscillations, sustained alternating current. Okay, so oscillations or alternating current will be produced by this circuit, and the portion of this part, the portion of the current is again fed back through this circuit. Okay, and these oscillations are transferred to the piezoelectric crystal through this transformer setup, where this is the secondary and this one is the primary. Okay, this is the details of the circuit diagram. Now we have seen that the frequency of oscillation or frequency of this alternating current of this tank circuit is given by 1 upon 2 pi root of LC. We have seen it here. It is 1 upon 2 pi under the root of LC. Okay, so it should be 1 upon 2 pi under the root of L2 into C. So this is the frequency of oscillation. Now this is the piezoelectric crystal, which itself have its own natural frequency, which is equals to P upon 2 pi, P upon 2L, where L is the length of the crystal, under the root of Y by rho, that is Young's modulus by density of the material. Okay, so this is the frequency of oscillation of the tank circuit. This is the natural frequency of piezoelectric crystal, where this P denote the overtone, first overtone, second overtone. For first overtone, we will take P equals to, for first harmonics, we will take P equals to 1. So it should be, the frequency of material should be 1 upon 2L under the root of Young's modulus by density of that material. Now, a resonance will occur when these two frequencies matches. And why we want resonance? Because we know at resonance the rod will vibrate vigorously so as to produce the ultrasonic waves. So how we will achieve this resonance condition? By varying this C, because here in our tank circuit the capacitor is a variable capacitor. By changing the value of C, we can change the value of F, so that the frequency of oscillation of electric current, it should be equals to the frequency of oscillation, natural frequency of oscillation of quartz crystal. And when this resonance occurs, the rod or crystal will start oscillating with a very high speed, and thus giving rise to the ultrasonic waves. Here is the circuit diagram for the production of ultrasonic waves by using valve, triode valve. I hope you have already studied this triode valve. It consists of a cathode, and it consists of an anode or plate and a grid. Okay. Now this cathode, it gets heated with certain filament liberating electrons, and these electrons get attracted towards the anode circuit. And in this way, when we close this circuit, we will get current flowing through the circuit. Now as usual, there is a tank circuit here also, which is connected to the grid part, whereas the feedback is provided to the anode part or plate part. Okay, this L2 is actually the circuit, it forms a circuit which gives a feedback, whereas this C1 and L1, it form a tank circuit that gives rise to the alternating current, oscillatory current, and this current is going to be transferred to the piezoelectric crystal via this transformer action, via the mutual inductance method. And this alternating current, it causes this crystal to compress and expand alternatively, so that this compression and expansion gives rise to the ultrasonic waves, as we have studied it before. In this way, we can produce the ultrasonic waves by using the piezoelectric material in two ways, one by using transistor, one by using a triode valve. But the basic circuitry is very common in both of the methods, that is the tank circuit, that is L2 and L1. These two coils, these are mutually coupled to each other, inductively coupled. There is a mutual inductance generated in this circuit due to this circuit, and this circuit is basically for giving a positive feedback network for this oscillator, and this transformer, via this transformer action, the oscillatory current is supplied to the piezoelectric material. Now let us see the production of piezoelectric material by using magnetostriction effect and by using a valve, triode valve. Now here also, if we look at the circuit carefully, what we will observe? We will observe one tank circuit. Obviously, this one is the tank circuit. This one is the ferromagnetic material rod, like nickel rod. Say it is a nickel rod. Now, when we close the circuit, what will happen? The capacitor get fully charged. The capacitor start discharging through this L1. Thus, the electrical energy gets stored in the form of magnetic energy. Now, as magnetic field has been generated, what will happen? The size of this rod changes. Okay, this rod is a ferromagnetic material rod, so it will get magnetized, no doubt. But the size of this rod is going to be changed. Now, this changing magnetic field will produce an induced EMF in this L2. Okay, this changing magnetic field. Changing, where is the changing magnetic field? Because the rod is changing its size. It is expanding, compressing. Why? Because we are applying a changing electric field or changing current, alternating current. We are applying alternating current to this rod via this L2, L1, coil L1. Thus, the magnetic field is changing. This magnetic field, changing magnetic field, will induce an EMF in L2. As a result of this, the feedback network will be applied to the triode circuitry in this way. So this L2 is to apply a positive feedback. So this is the working of magnetostriction oscillator circuit using valve. Again, we will get certain frequency of this LC tank circuit. Now, the frequency of mechanical vibrations of the rod is given by, as we have seen, P upon 2L under the root of Y by rho. Now, the resonance will occur when F rod become equal to F oscillation, that is the frequency of oscillation of tank circuit. Now, once this resonance is achieved by varying the value of capacitor C, we can achieve this resonance condition F rod equals to F oscillation. And when this resonance takes place, the rod starts vibrating vigorously and thus emit ultrasonic waves from both ends of the rod. It is simple. Now, this is again the same thing, but instead of rod, what we have used here? We have used the NPN transistor. And the things are very simple. Like in previous case, here also this ferromagnetic material rod has been clamped and there are two coils L1 and L2. L1 along with C1 form a tank circuit that gives rise to an alternating current, whereas this L2, which is mutually coupled, inductively coupled to L1, it forms a feedback network. And in this way, due to the change in the current, a change in the magnetic field of this L1, the length of this rod changes. It will induce an EMF in L2 and we will get the oscillatory circuit which is capable to produce the ultrasonic waves. Here is the whole process I have given. Thank you.